Welcome. Finally, I got y'all on here. It's been a labor of love.
Yes. A nice long journey.
Yes. How's everything been going though?
Everything is going.
Good. It's so good to see the both of you. I remember when y'all first started dating, like when I would see CJ come up to the studio. Yeah, and that was how long ago?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years. That's how long y'all been married?
No, we've been married for 7.
7 years. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So let me take care of the paperwork. First, welcome to Black Marriage Chronicles. Here on Black Marriage Chronicles, it is our goal to reunite, revive, reunite, and ignite existing marriages through the shared experience of couples like yourself who have been married, who is willing to share their experience through marriage with other couples to help them bring their marriages closer, and to also give couples who are thinking about getting married a template which to follow from, to let them know that, hey, marriage is work. You just got it's difficult, but you can make it happen. And hopefully through your shared experiences, we'll be able to help those folks, hey, decide if they want to be married or not. So again, welcome to Black Marriage Chronicles. I appreciate we have CJ and Lydia Brown, right?
Hey,
all right. So if you wouldn't mind, we're gonna jump right into some things. I want you to kind of tell us how long you've been married. Are there any kids involved? Just kind of give us the background.
Okay, you want to take it back?
You take it.
Okay. We've been together for 10 years in September, and married for 7 years as of August.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
Listen, that is a feat.
Well, we're going to get into that.
Exactly. But as far as children are concerned, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but we have just been blessed with our first miracle baby. Yeah.
And folks, I am so happy. I know this young lady personally. We her mother ran a what's it called? A healthcare
private duty healthcare
right next to my fitness studio. Well, I was next door to her because she was in the building first. But me and Lydia, I would go over to their office and talk with her and her mom. And her mom also helped me get my CPR certification. So I know that I've been knowing this young lady a long time. So I am so excited for her and her family for this blessing with y'all. So I'm trying to maintain my composure. I am so happy for you because it couldn't happen to a better person. You know what I'm saying? I've always loved your spirit, CJ. We hadn't had a chance to really talk, but for your wife to pick you, you got to be a good guy because she's awesome.
Thank you.
So go ahead and finish telling us about your marriage.
Yeah, so we our baby's due in December, so that has been the subject of our marriage.
Christmas.
Yes, having a pretty much a Christmas baby.
Oh wow.
Our due date was the 26th, and then they moved it to the 19th, so it could happen.
Oh my God! Wow, Christmas baby, nice.
Anytime during that time, but marriage has been a journey. It's like it's been good.
Just out of curiosity, have y'all already picked out a name for her?
Yes.
What's her name?
It's a boy.
Oh, it's a boy. I'm sorry.
It's a boy. Yeah. We'll I don't want to jump ahead.
Okay.
There's a story behind his
okay.
Name. But are we going to reveal the name?
Say it.
Yeah. So his name is Solomon.
All right.
Yep. I'll tell you this.
Okay.
We were given his name separately. The first year we were dating. So 10 years ago, I had a dream about his name. I brought it up to CJ, and CJ already was given the name before he met me. So we've known for 10 years that when we had a child, most likely will be a boy first.
Oh my God. Look at God. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh wow. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. So y'all been together for 10 years, been married 7.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get started, because I really want to jump into some things you just don't know, CJ, I've been trying to, I know your wife been trying to tackle you for me to get y'all on my show.
Right.
All right. So we do play games that are inspired by Black game artists, and it's just kind of have some fun to kind of break up the questions and answers and stuff we're going to ask on the show. So one of the games we play is called Culture Tags.
Okay.
All right. And the categories include family and friends, church, TV and film, words to live by, Black Twitter, or songs and lyrics. But before you make a choice, we also there's another game called. Can you see it? Yep.
Urban Trivia.
Urban Trivia. Yep. So I just need you guys to, well, actually we have a couple more games. So I got couples here. So this is tonight. Let's talk.
Okay.
All right.
And then we have Naughty Nice.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So before we finish, talking, I want you guys to decide now. Let me know which of these 4 games you would like to play.
Culture tag.
Culture tags. Which category?
TV and film. Because I'm
TV and film. It is. All right. So while I'm getting the cards together, what I want to know is, okay, been together 10, married for 7, and you have a child on the way. I am so happy for you and Lydia and your husband. I'm so happy. And your mom, I got to call 40 too. I got to call her because I know we haven't talked in a while, because normally when we talk for a minute. So do you want more kids after this? Have y'all thought about that? Y'all want to extend your family even more?
We do.
Yes.
We do.
Okay. All
yeah.
right. Awesome.
The number has decreased over time. Yeah. When I first met CJ, he was talking 6.
Okay.
And I know my frame is not easily seen right now, but I said this little body's 6. So I think we're down to. I think we're ordained to have 3.
3. Okay. All right. You look good. I saw you post a picture on social media. You look good pregnant. You look good. Now you alluded to some earlier. You were saying, "Oh, marriage has been a journey." So tell me a little bit about when you say marriage has been a journey. Was there ever a year in the 7 years that y'all been married where that one year was more difficult than all the rest?
I would say so, but I'm gonna let him answer first.
I would say it would have been, would you say the tour?
Yeah. So our first year was like bliss.
Okay.
Like, our first year was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Had a couple of arguments, but it was that honeymoon phase.
Okay.
The second year, the nitty gritty started kicking in, so it turned up a little bit. Mm-hmm. But by far, so at that time we would have said our second year, but by far I would say the year we were transitioning from Detroit to Atlanta,
okay,
would have been our 3rd year of marriage, I think. 3rd or 4th year.
It was going into the 3rd.
Yeah, our 3rd.
Okay. It was the end of 2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the roughest year for us because we were put in a situation that a lot of married couples maybe aren't put in, and that is where we had to work together. Mm-hmm. And the difference between a romantic relationship and a business relationship.
Yeah.
So we went on a tour. We went on a marketing tour.
Okay.
And he was the tour manager, and I was the assistant tour manager. And there was some power struggle there.
Okay.
And so that was the first challenge. But then we did a second tour. That second tour, I was diagnosed years ago with a condition called rheumatoid arthritis. It's an autoimmune condition that affects your joints. And I had a flare-up while we're on the tour, and it's a physical tour. So we had to build a set and do all of these things that were very physically straining. And I had a flare-up and couldn't do anything anymore.
Okay.
So we had the learning how to work together bit on top of learning compassion, how to work with a spouse through illness.
Right.
And that really challenged
your marriage.
Yeah, it challenged our marriage serious. But what it did was it rubbed us, like the word talks about iron sharpening iron, to the point that it made us closer and better. I know for some people.
Amen. Yes. Awesome.
Divorce,
awesome.
But
yeah.
I think the D word actually came up for the first time during that tour. We weren't serious and we repented later to one another, but that really challenged us, but it brought us closer together.
And that was the next thing I was going to ask. Has there ever been a time in your marriage where you considered calling it quits, and that was it?
Yeah, I would say that's probably the closest we've ever gotten. Yeah, I was listening. I was threatening coming back to Detroit. We were living in Atlanta, but I was like, look at here. You know, I always said that would never be a thing. You know, divorce is never an option. His parents are still married. My parents did go through divorce. But we had just always said that wasn't our portion. But man, when you get in it.
Listen, folks, you hearing it live and in person right here. And you know, the thing is that me and my wife said that as well. But then we had some rough spots where we were trying to work some things out. And I think I think when people say divorce is not an option, that's not realistic. It is an option. You just choose not to exercise it. You get in there and fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I believe that it's always an option. I mean, you have options. You just choose to love one another through it, and you just don't exercise that option. Everybody comes with luggage, and you just have to choose to love them enough to help them unpack it. But I do want to ask this. So when y'all were going through that difficult time, did you, because I always ask couples this, you think about those vows, for better, for worse, for sickness and in health. And then I don't think we really understand the gravity of it until you actually in it. Like you went through that situation where your body was kind of fighting against you. Now your husband, like, okay, I gotta have her back 110%. Now those vows become a little bit more real at this point. You know what I'm saying? So how did you deal with that?
Just prayer. That's it.
Serious.
You know, literally, like when I was dating her, I was in prayer and I heard, you know, God tell me, never forget that that's my daughter. Ooh. And I was like, okay. And it was almost like he was saying that for a number of reasons, to make sure my mind was in check, my heart was in check, and that I basically had accountability when no one was around.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then when we started going through like the tidal waves of marriage, quote unquote, it was like I started to notice this weird, interesting pattern.
Okay.
There would be times when I would come to him and say, God, your daughter is tripping. Your daughter is doing this or doing that. And he'd be like, well, let's sit down and have a conversation about it. And I'd be like, wait a minute, I'm talking to you about your daughter. And he'd say, no, let's sit down and have a conversation about you. And I was like, so I want to tell you about her. And the only thing you doing is talking to me about me. And I was like, wow. But one thing, a lot of men, even though everything you said is 100% correct, one thing we have to be mindful of is a lot of times, a lot of the issues that you're going to deal with in your wife speak to something that you have to deal with, overcome, improve on, or what have you, and or learn how to build up in your wife so that she can become who God created her to be.
Amen. Okay.
And so once he started dealing with me with that, like sometimes right now, the only thing he do is I'll say, God, like this is the issue. She isn't doing this, or she isn't doing that, or she isn't loving me this way or that way. He'd be like, well, are you loving her that way? He just flip it on me. And then flip it on me, I'd be like, okay, all right.
Okay.
All right. And then it's like, then what I do, and she, and this is so funny. And this is the last thing. It's so funny. Like we're in other marriage groups and she'll like be like, I don't know what happened to CJ, but he just changed and this and that. And it's because when I have an issue, I'll take it to the Father and he'll be like, but what about you? Like, are you doing that?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'll be like, dang, even though I want her to hug me more or to kiss me more or to give me affection without me asking. I might not be doing that to her the way she wants. So then all of a sudden I'll start doing it more for her, not necessarily because I want her to. Now I'm not doing it to receive, but I just got a gut check. And that gut check was enough to remind me, hey, like you're trying to make her a 10 on this thing, but you at a 5.
Got you.
So how can you be at a 5 and you expecting 10?
Right. And they say your spouse is actually a reflection of you. Yeah, a reflection of you. So yeah, do you guys happen to know what your love language is? Have you read the book about the love languages? Do you know what your love language is? Lydia, you know what your husband's love language is?
Touch, and words of affirmation.
Okay.
Definitely touch though.
Okay.
Touch number 1.
Go ahead and touch him. CJ, what's Lydia's? Because you have a primary and a secondary. What's Lydia's?
Hers is quality time. It can be. I will also say words of affirmation, but it's also. She doesn't care too much for gifts, even though she'll try to act like it. But like if you do acts of service, she digs that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Even though she might not act like it, that might be kind of lower on her scale, but she likes acts of service. Trust me.
Yeah. All right.
The words are the biggest thing for me. Words of affirmation.
Yeah. And Lydia, I think one of the reasons I was probably drawn to her too is because she dances. My wife danced. My wife is a former dancer.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. You two would love one another. She used to do ballet. She loves going to when Alvin Ailey, their production comes to town. She loves stuff like that. Like that is her passion. Like she really. I said, if I ever get rich, I'm gonna buy her a studio and let her teach. Class. Yeah. Bring y'all both in. She loves that. You two would get along famously. Yep. So what you said, CJ, I found very interesting. The fact that, like you said, you take it to God and God told you, hey, remember, that's my daughter, and kind of pointed the mirror back at you. What are you not doing? You asking her to do this. What are you not doing? So I found that to be very interesting. So what was the initial attraction between you two before you got married? What attracted you to one another?
We would probably both say we weren't like.
Yeah. Okay, so you got 2 phases. You got two phases. The first phase, when we first laid eyes on one another, he thought I was probably about
10
to 15. He thought I was about 15 years younger than I was.
Black don't crack. You do look young, Lydia.
And I thought he was about 15 years older than he was.
Okay.
So he felt wrong looking at me any other type of way other than how an adult should look at a young lady.
Okay.
Because I was with my boys when I saw her.
Okay.
They was like, and I was like, bro, that's a 15-year-old girl. Don't even come. And it was because we were at her dance concert and she had all these little itty bitty, miniature dancers all around her. So she was guilty by association. I wasn't thinking in my mind. How old were you when 27?
I was 26.
26. I wasn't thinking that's a 26-year-old. I just saw 10 little girls running around this girl with a bonnet. Not a bonnet, a bun.
Okay.
Like a 15-year-old girl, man. Don't.
Yeah. But there was an attraction at that time because he saw me praying. I was leading the prayer, obviously, because it was my event that I was throwing, and that kind of sparked something for him.
I was like, that 15-year-old can pray.
she know the word.
But after that, when we started talking, for me, what attracted me to him was his intelligence. And his gifting. I hadn't seen his talent too much because we both had come from the same background. He went to school for acting, undergrad and graduate, and I went to school for musical theater. So we had that in common.
Okay.
But what really attracted me, he's brilliant. He's a brilliant speaker.
Okay.
Really, really smart, well learned, loves reading,
Okay.
and that was really attractive for me.
Okay.
I like the profile of his face. That was random, but I love his profile. It was something about his profile that was just very attractive to me.
Okay. Okay. All right. What about for you, CJ? What was it for you?
After first off, I thought she was super young, and then I was in a room with men, and everyone knew who she was except me.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, they said who she was, and they didn't say who she was by telling me her name. They told me who she was by telling me who her brother was. Okay. So me and her brother used to sing together at Word of Faith. Okay. And they were like, that's David John's, Pastor David John's sister. And I was like, that is not Pastor David John's sister. I was like, David John, my favorite pastor. What y'all talking about? It was like, do you see it? I was like, I do not see it, the connection. All of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, boom, boom, boom. So then later on, I knew something was up when after I met her, 2 women from my past had called me, and they both wanted me to fly. One wanted me to go to the East Coast. One wanted me to go to the West Coast. And I was on my way down to Atlanta when I met her.
Is that where she was at the time?
No, she was in Detroit.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I promise you I'm answering your question. It's just
No, take your time.
And so then after that, I was like, wait a minute, something's up, because I just met this woman, and then these 2 women who I have like this back and forth, on, off, left, right, up, down, left, this weird thing with, they both call me at the same time, like within the same week. Wow. And I was like, okay, there's something up with that. I've always had these weird patterns where, the enemy tries to throw me off. And so then I just said, you know what? I know something is up with me meeting her. So I need to fast. And I just started fasting, because I was like, either I'm going to leave something behind by moving to Atlanta without pursuing this, or, I'm going to be distracted by one of these 2 women or whatever. And once I ended up fasting, I got my answer in a 6-page letter that I got after praying. And after praying, I went and I read everything to her. And so this is the answer to your question. Once I read everything to her about, our future, where I felt things were going to go and all of this and all of that, I gave her a hug. Once I hugged her, I was like, this is my wife.
Wow.
Because I knew, I've always been a hugger. On college campuses, women they were like, dude, you're in the friend zone forever, but I'm going to hug you all the time because you're the best hugger.
Okay.
If you would have had, who was the best hugger at Morehouse? That's where I went to undergrad. From 1999 to 2003, I guarantee you I would be the guy who would have got that. You're the best.
You would have got that posthumous award, the hugger.
They would have given it to me. But then when I hugged her, I was like, I've met somebody who could hug better than me. And I was like, I don't know if I could live without that now that I've had it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at that time, how long had y'all been dating?
We wasn't dating.
And you wrote a 6-page letter to her about y'all future?
Within the first
That was
weeks.
what? Yeah, that was 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Because...
Okay. Let me back up a little bit. And Lydia, that didn't scare you? I need to run?
Absolutely.
I barely know this guy.
Absolutely. Listen, he came on agenda, for real. He came real strong. We connected at the dance concert. The male friends you talked about, they connected us because we had the same interests and the same backgrounds. We talked on the phone. I thought he was kind of a little corny. And I was like, I don't know. And then I was talking to another gentleman at the time, that was about 10 years older than me, an engineer at the time. And he was actually there. That was the last time I saw the engineer at the concert, and the first time I saw CJ. And CJ was like, you didn't tell me that you were in a relationship or that you were dating. Mind you, this is like the second or third conversation. And I was like, what's your name again? What's your name? You coming on? What's wrong, bro?
I got one daddy.
Right. I was like, what is happening? But he was very serious, and so we had more conversations after that. And I would say after about a week, he had me interested because of my maybe after a week and a half, he had me interested, and all of a sudden he came was like, we can't talk anymore. We talked every day for hours. We can't talk anymore. God has put me on a fast, so I can't talk to you for a week or two or whatever, however long it was. That's when he went on a fast. We didn't talk. Then he wanted to meet up at Cold Stone. We met up at Cold Stone. I'm sitting in the driver's seat. He's sitting in my passenger seat, and he starts reading this 6-page letter. And I am hugging the driver's door.
Trying to get out. Trying to get out the car.
I'm running because I'm like, what is happening? Sorry.
Right.
He's sitting on our birth ball.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the scariest moment, and was real. I'm gonna tell you why it was really scary. Just a year or two before that, I took a minister's class at my church. It was a prophecy class, and we did an exercise. It was an activation where we wrote our names on pieces of paper. We scrambled the paper. Everybody took a piece of paper, and we prayed to the Lord and asked him to give us a word concerning the person we were holding's name, concerning their spouse. And so I actually prophesied to myself. When I prophesied this man, I see a big gentleman. He's a big stature. He's in the arts. He's called to ministry, And at the end of the activity, I opened up the piece of paper and I had my own name. Okay. Wow. And I 100% described him. Right.
Wow.
On top of that, a minister came to the church that same year and prayed over me, and she said marriage is coming very quickly, and she said one way you'll know it's him is because he's going to abruptly leave his church, leave his ministry, and join your church. Wow. He's going to do it abruptly and quickly. And at the end of his letter, he says, oh yeah, and one more thing, I'm supposed to join your church next weekend. So when he said that, I was like it's happening.
And the reason why that was a big deal is because I had always gone almost all the big churches in Detroit. That was where I hung out. If it was a church, that's where I liked it, because I hadn't gone to a small church since Perfecting was a small church. On Greenfield back in what? But that was like the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hadn't been to a small church since then. Literally, to come to her church, which was, y'all probably had about 100 members or something like that. 100 members or less. Active members. I mean, it might have been more, members, but 100 active members or whatever. And it was like, wow. I haven't had this feel, but I'm like, okay. I left Word of Faith and went to FCF on the east side.
Yeah, wow. So he's in his letter that was confirmation. And it's funny, you pray for things and God promises you things, and you think you're ready for it because you've been asking for it for so long, and you think you know what you want. And sometimes when it comes,
right,
you're not really mentally or spiritually ready to receive it.
Right.
So I ain't even gonna do it that fast. So
and God is like, listen, you asked me for this. And at the end of the day, I believe. Let me ask you this: do you think He prepared you for it as well, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I was in a long 5-year relationship. He was in a long 5-year relationship. The gentleman that I had started talking to, the engineer, was just a couple of months, 2 or 3 months. But just earlier that year, the end of the previous year, I had broken up out of a 5-year relationship that I really, really wanted to make it to marriage.
Okay.
And I had, at that time, I was really, really journaling. And when I would pray, I would just listen to God's voice and write down whatever it is I felt He was revealing to me at the time. And I was writing these things down He was giving me and trying to apply it to this other guy. Because I just wanted it to be.
You wanted it to be him.
Yeah,
right? Because you had invested the time and the energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't been through the rough. Like, I'm not trying to start over, you know? And so, but after a while, God was like, stop inserting his name. Just write what I'm telling you to write.
Wow.
And so I started to do that. And then he said, when you're praying, pray just for your husband in general. Don't, because you don't know what I have for you. So just pray for your husband in general, wherever he is. And don't just pray that he finds you and pray for marriage. Pray for his well-being. Pray for his health. Pray for his decision-making, his career, his whatever, you know. And so that's what I started doing. And that was my
That's a key right there for all the single people.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Start praying for your spouse before you see your spouse. Start praying for different areas of their life before you even see them.
Amen, brother. Amen. Preach to him. All you singles, y'all hearing it from a 7-year married couple whose marriage is rooted in the word and faith. Pray for your spouse, their well-being, every area of their life before you even lay eyes on them.
Yes.
Before you even lay eyes on them. So we ain't even got to the end of this, but that is one of the keys to a successful marriage, right?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. You heard it here first from the Browns.
Because honestly, I didn't do it the way she did it, but I was doing it too. And another key was like how she had just broke up with her person, and she, even by the time we met, now you just heard her say at the end of the previous year, which would have been 2012, right?
Yep.
2012, she had broke up with him. I met her in September, and she was still dealing with him in 2013. And in her heart, I had broke up with my ex in 2012 as well.
Wow.
I wanted that relationship to go to marriage as well. She had a son. So, you know, that was rough because it was a separation of me and her son and her dog. Even her dog. But what?
Let's not forget the dog.
Right,
the dog was a big deal. But check this out. The thing was that number one helped me in my healing, and I also believe helped me to find Lydia. Was I began to pray for my ex and her spouse. Not necessarily because there was something I wanted to do, but because when I was in prayer, the Father was saying, sow seed. Sow some seed. And in me sowing seed toward her life, her well-being, her marriage, his well-being, and all of that, it was like I was just sowing good seed for me to reap in my own marriage and in who I was going to meet.
Wow.
And I do want to add this other thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about praying for your spouse before you get to know, and that's good. But I think even more important than that in preparation is praying for yourself, praying that you are ready. Because sometimes, like I said, we pray for certain things to come to us that we're not even ready for. And during that time, he was preparing me and prepping my heart, my mind, getting me together because, like CJ said, I probably could have done a little bit more work in that area because I wasn't totally ready when he came. When he was coming on strong, I was like, look, bro, I'm trying to heal from my last situation.
Pump your brakes now.
He was talking about getting married in 2 or 3 months. You know?
Oh, wow.
I was like, you know, he started saying, I love you real early and all that. I'm just like, look, like you doing a lot.
You're doing way too much now. Did you slow down?
But I was very much so scarred from that last relationship. Bitter, jaded, all those wonderful words, you know. They were
not you.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I wasn't a man hater. I didn't be a man hater or anything like that. I've never been that because I have too many great men in my life. So I know that a good man exists, and I believe that man had potential to be a good man, but for where he was in his life at that time,
he wasn't a good man for you.
He wasn't a good man for me, and it was toxic. The relationship was toxic. So I had been cheated on regularly, so my trust was not there. You know, it was just, and I was young too. You know, I was a lot younger too. So yeah, I would say work on yourself. Like make sure you are good. And
single people, you hear that? And I've also heard it said that and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because I need to do a better job of picking up my Bible, but that a woman needs to prepare herself for marriage. She already needs to be acting as a wife before she even becomes a wife. And I want to say my wife told me that as well. Like, you need to already be a wife before you meet your husband.
That's right.
Yep.
Would you say that would be accurate?
100%.
Yeah, it doesn't magically happen. People think getting married is a magic trick. It's not a magic trick. Things actually get more magnified.
Oh yeah.
Like whatever you had, they're going to come out. You know, like you say, you're going to show as a mirror to one another, and all of your weaknesses and all of those things,
your
flaws, insecurities,
all of that.
They're all going to show.
You can't hide them from that person. Guess what? You're with this person every day, all day.
Yeah. It's an equation. The equation is be, do, have. A lot of people want
to break that down for us, CJ.
The equation is be. You have to be one, and you got to do the things that are required in order to have the life, right?
Wow.
A lot of people want to have without doing and without having the mindset of being. We are human doings. We are human beings, right? Yeah. So you have to be that thing, just like you said, before you can do it, like with ease. Sometimes when you try to be something, when you don't have the mindset of what it means to be a thing, and you do the stuff, it feels foreign to you because you haven't locked it in. It's not a habit, but then you'll still expect to have everything that comes along with what you say or think you want to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So mindset is so important of preparation.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Y'all done drop some gems on here. I'm so happy I was able to get y'all on here. You just don't know. Yes, I knew y'all had some gems. I do want to do a couple of questions from the game, but before I get into that, I want to talk about something you just said, CJ, about you and Lydia talked about being in preparation for your spouse. You have to get married. Not have to get married, but you have to prepare yourself for the marriage as if you already married and start acting as you want to be. But I know what it was. You mentioned about it being organic. I know sometimes, and man, you should be. I'm sure you two can attest to this. There are things that you had to done that took you out of your comfort zone. Wasn't organic, but the more you did it, it became your thing. Can you tell me what that one or two things was for you in your marriage where it wasn't organic at first, like it didn't start off that way, but you knew in order to have a successful marriage or to make your husband happy or to make your wife happy, this is what I need to do, and then it became organic?
For me, it's real simple. It's just how you talk to someone.
Okay. So were you rough with the women you talked to?
Yeah, my mom had a lot of influence on me as a child, and her mother was, I won't say verbally abusive, but just very stern and curt. That's the word she always say, curt. I didn't hear that word before her, except as a name, like Curtis, and my father, he was like chill. You could call him every name in the book. He'll just sit there and just. My father is like the guy they always tell you to watch out for.
Okay,
that's my dad, right?
Okay,
Quiet, ain't gonna say nothing, but will surprise you in a way you don't want.
Right.
Mom, she's the. Rah, 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 rah. So then it was interesting. It was almost like I always attracted women who either had thick skin or they would have that sort of energy. And it's almost like, it was two hurt people who would get to this toxic place of being able to dish it and not being able to take it. And then all of a sudden I meet Lydia, and then she's like my father with thin skin. Okay. My father could take it. He got thick skin. Lydia, she's like my father with thin skin. No, she can't. She can't. And so I literally had to constantly work on being mindful of how I talk to her.
Okay.
And my temperament, and not only how I'm saying, but even what I'm saying.
Okay.
And then it was weird because she would say stuff and I kept looking at her like, yo, you weak, because all the women before had thick skin.
Okay.
So they were, you say MF and they were MF you, and it's ice cream together and hug.
Right.
This thing. But now with Lydia, you can't do that. And then all of a sudden, I kept not being able to see how I was speaking to her from her point of view. And I got on the phone, literally, it was this weird thing. One day, I got on the phone with my mom and I got on the phone with my sister, who both maintain that culture in their life. And they were just talking to me, and it was like cutting me. Like, we was just talking about going to the grocery store, but they were just cutting me.
Like with a Ginsu knife, huh?
I mean, and I was just like, if this is what Lydia is talking about, this feels horrible.
Right.
And it was like God just opened up my eyes and allowed me to see it.
Okay.
And immediately, I just went back to her, and I wasn't perfect, but I started working on making sure I calm my temperament down.
Okay.
And now we're at a place where she would probably say, yeah, he didn't improve by 25%.
He's improved greatly.
He's improved great. Okay. Did he tell you about this, or did you notice it over time as he started implementing this change in himself?
Both.
Okay.
I think I started noticing it first, and then he did tell me, he admitted, what it was going. By the way, I do want to set the record. I love my mother-in-law. I've seen her spicy side, but she's a woman of love. She's a woman of love. She definitely got some spice. She definitely.
Okay.
For me, I had to inorganically do, like when he talked about needing affection. I had never met a man that needed a lot of physical affection and touch and stuff like they like touch in other ways, but when it came to just like your day-to-day, hold my hand, grab, give me a hug throughout the day, give me a kiss. Like when he started expressing to me that's what he needed, I saw that as a weakness a little bit. I'm like, oh, because the dudes I was dating were kind of like macho, like, you know what I mean? They were right. That's how they were, and so I wasn't used to that. And so at first I'm like, I'm not used to that, bro. Like I'm just like, so I probably bucked a little bit in the beginning, but
a little bit.
I bucked a little bit in the beginning, but then I was like, no, you can't love a person the way you want to love them. You have to love them the way
you got to meet them where they are,
or love them the way you loved other people. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to bring how I could love other women that I was attracting the way I was supposed to love my wife.
Okay.
Wasn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't love me or expect to love me the way she was able to love all those other men.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. All right. So we're gonna go into a couple of games. Y'all. By the way,
you trying to get a pregnant woman to play a game? You know what happens to now he don't like he don't like when I say this, but it's scientific that the woman's brain shrinks during pregnancy because of all the blood that goes to the baby.
Okay.
And he don't like it when I say that. And so I won't say that, but I will say, Lord help my mind and my memory.
All right, here we go. So and you did say TV and film, right, CJ?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. I'll do the best I can to give some really good clues. All right, so here's the first one. Ooh. Okay, so this is a phrase Black folks say all the time when they say, let's see.
I don't have to.
You on the right track, Lydia. You can't make me do nothing.
I don't have to do nothing.
But stay black and die.
There you go. All right. Yeah. Black card kept. All right. Nice. All right. So here's the next one.
And this is TV and film?
Yep, TV and film.
Okay.
Jeez.
Tyler Perry. This is more of a TV.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, a film. I want to say it was a movie. You got what's the WB? What was the animal that was a yep?
The frog. Okay.
So then, what was the opposite of the frog?
A princess. So
the princess and
the frog.
There you go. All right. All right. Here's the next one.
That was a good hint. That was good.
This was a movie. It had one of the Wayans brothers in it.
and
I was Jada Pinkett in this one too? I think so.
Oh gosh.
I know it was one of the Wayans brothers. I want to say not Keenan, but
Sean.
Yeah.
Or not Keenan, but
the one under Keenan.
Damon.
Yep.
It's a 90s film.
Yes.
It ain't More Money. Wait a minute.
Ain't.
What's the one with the drill sergeant?
Shane.
A
Low Down Dirty Shame.
There you go. Look at Lydia.
See, now that's why I tell her don't say that. Crazy.
Right. The baby helping you out. Solomon helping y'all out over here. All right, here's the next one. Oh, this was a famous in the 90s. We all watched this TV show.
I love
Jennifer Lopez got her start on here.
In Living Color.
In Living Color. Yeah. All right. So, man, I'm so glad. Yeah, I can talk to y'all forever. Okay, so tell me this. Do you remember, CJ, when you proposed?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Lydia, CJ, I want you to tell me what was that like? How was it like? And I want to know if Lydia remembers it differently. Tell me, how did the proposal go?
So I had took her to the restaurant in the GM building that rotates.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep, yeah.
Was that Seldom Blues?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't Seldom Blues. I remember that restaurant. They didn't change the name of it now. My wife sent me a little Instagram pic. We said we was going to go up there. It's something different now.
Wow.
I want to say the Hyatt or the High something.
Yeah.
But but I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So,
sorry, y'all not from the D, but we have a rotating restaurant in the GM building that was located downtown.
Yeah.
So we're all natural Detroiters. So
the Renaissance.
Right. There you go. It's the Renaissance. Yeah.
Right. And so, one of her friends, I had been working with her friends to coordinate it because at first I was going to propose to her at church because church was the place, and it sounded kind of crazy, but I knew it was kind of important to her to have like all of her friends and family there. So I was like, yo, if I just do it at church, like everybody will be there and then it'll be like a big thing and we'll be great, and then like something was like, hey bro, stop being religious. Like I was like, I felt like, you know what, like it might also be kind of cool to do something like in private. Mm-hmm. And so then I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and do something at that spinning restaurant. And so her friend was like, yo, if you're going to propose to her, make sure you make it a big deal like about this dinner so she could at least get her nails done. Because you don't like to get proposed to without her nails done. Your nails weren't done?
My nails were not done.
Your nails
Babe, I love it. Every time I ask couples about the proposal, something.
Babe, I thought you had your nails done.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, CJ, go ahead and finish telling the story. Clearly, you
maybe something must have happened where she ain't but the point is, I thought she got her nails done. So we go up there, and then what I had did, because I'm a tour manager, so I get a lot of free hotels or whatever because I accumulate a ton of points or whatever. So there's a hotel in the GM building as well. So I had got like a nice room, river, front or whatever. And I told them I'm going to propose. So I want to upgrade. So they gave me like this crazy upgrade. It was like,
suite. You got a suite?
Got a nice suite or whatever.
Nice.
Ooh, it was so nice. And I went in there. I put rose petals everywhere, balloons everywhere. Got like, she had like a, what's that drink that you like?
Moscato.
It was a Moscato that she liked. So I got the Moscato she liked. I had got the fruit. What's the
chocolate covered strawberries.
Chocolate covered strawberries. and some other chocolate covered fruits,
Uh-huh.
all types of stuff. Like put it all in the room. So then we go to the make sure I got the ring. So then we go to the restaurant, and then I was acting like I had the runs.
Really?
I keep leaving while she's eating, but what I'm doing is I'm going to the room to light up all the candles because I set all these tea candles all over the place.
Okay.
So I'm lighting up the tea candle, like, oh man, my stomach hurts. So then all of a sudden I'm like, yo, babe, we gotta wrap this up. Get a goodie bag. We gotta get out of here.
Uh-huh.
She gets the goodie bag, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, before we leave, like there is a studio or something upstairs that my friend had told me about where you could do your dance stuff out of. Like, let's go look at it and check it out. And so she looking at me real suspicious.
Like, what is he up to?
Dance studio upstairs with
right. And you got the runs. What is he trying to do? I'm not that kind of girl.
Exactly. So then we end up going into the suite, and I open up and she see the balloons, the lights, the candles, the petals, and all of this and all of that. See the Moscato, the chocolate covered fruits.
All right, stop right there. Lydia, what did you think at that point?
That he was just doing, because he would do little things here and there when we dated where he would want to surprise me.
Okay.
So that was very good because I still didn't suspect anything. I just thought he was trying to be romantic that night because he was gone a lot for work.
Okay.
So I just thought he was being romantic. So.
Okay. All right, CJ, go ahead and finish.
And then I had
but for no reason, because we wasn't about to spend the night there. I'm like, why you get all this money? We ain't about to be spending the night over here.
Right. And so then I had told her I had a song I wanted to sing to her. And it was a song I didn't necessarily, when I wrote it, to me, it wasn't a proposing song, but it was a song about a man who wanted to be with a woman for the rest of his life.
Okay.
And so one of her friends, Ron, shout out to Ron Lee.
Hey, Ron.
He had made a beat for me to the song, and I cut the beat on and started singing it, and she still wasn't catching it.
She still wasn't catching it.
And there was the question like, oh, like, I think, we could do this and it'll be a great time together forever, a good time, me and you forever. She still wasn't. And so then I went ahead and I went over to her.
Right now.
Listen, I had went in my coat pocket and I had no.
You sat down on the couch next to me.
No. What was it? I forgot. Basically, I was going over to her and I was getting ready to get on my knees, right? But wherever the ring was, it might have been in my pants pocket. I was trying to be cool and smooth and flow, but I ended up doing something where it wasn't so cool. And to kind of sort of like help me out and recover, I ended up just sitting next to her because I felt embarrassed to get on my knees because it would have just been kind of, I don't know, I just felt like it would have just been this fumble. And when I pulled out the ring, then that's when she knew.
No.
He missing the big piece, Lydia.
What was the big piece?
He pulled out an Altoids mint.
Oh my God!
I don't remember that.
He pulled out an Altoids thing.
Oh my God!
When he reached in his
pocket, remember this.
When he reached in his pocket, and I am thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking all these things. I'm like, well, he's not on his knees, but he reached in his pocket. And the candles are going. So I'm thinking he's pulling out a ring, and then he pulls out the Altoids, and I was like, oh, thanks. Okay.
I did not remember that.
So then I took a mint out, and then he went in and pulled out the ring.
Oh, wow. It's always interesting when I ask couples that everybody seems to remember the proposal a little bit different. I had one couple on here, and he seems to remember there was two different proposals that she asked him to marry her. She was like, I don't remember that.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh my God. But they were the Woods.
It's a blur.
Yeah, shout out to the Woods. They were very authentic, good couple. It was too funny. But yeah, she was like, that ain't what happened. I don't know what he talking about.
Wow.
Yeah. So just to kind of touch back on the difficult time y'all had in your marriage, how did y'all? I think you might already answered this question. How did y'all overcome that year that it was very difficult in y'all marriage where y'all brought up the D word? I mean, what got y'all through that?
So from my point of view, like you said, prayer, because we had to separate. He left the hotel room because at that time we were living in close quarters. We were on the road on a tour.
Okay.
So we didn't really escape one another, but he would leave. He left for some hours, and I had my time to myself, and we both prayed. I think I spoke to a trusted friend of ours, and that friend was able to help me to see things from his point of view. Because men are fixers, and seeing me be sick.
Yes, I just talked about that last night. You're right. Yes, we are.
Men are fixers, and so the way that he responded in wanting to fix me but couldn't came off as insensitive.
Okay.
It came off because he was angry. He would like do things, and I'm like, do you care about what I'm going through? But it was only because he was upset that he could not help what I was going through. Gotcha. So my friend helped me to realize that. I prayed, same as what happened with him. God told me, how I needed to see things differently. And he did the same thing. We ended up having to leave the tour because it got so bad for me. I became bedbound.
Oh, no.
Couldn't walk at all. He had to pick me up to take me to the restroom. It got really bad. And the tour was a 2-person job. So he was doing a 2-person job by himself. So we ended up leaving. We came home, and I mean, while there were a couple of times I wanted to call my pastor, I think one time I did call my pastor, and God was like, why you keep calling other people and you ain't talked to me about it? Like you keep like you want to get advice from other people, but you haven't talked to me. And so I canceled a little meeting that I had tried to set up with my pastor, and I went and I got an index card, and I wrote out all the things, all the attributes that I either wanted from my husband or that I knew he was ordained to have. I knew this was the kind of man that God wanted him to be. So I would write things like, my husband is dedicated, committed, and consistent. He's a man of his word. He's compassionate. He's loving. He's da, 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 da. So I did that, and the Lord told me to pray that every day over him. So I stopped complaining to him and trying to help him see whatever the issues were. And I just started to take it to God. I'm not trying to sound churchy or religious, but it literally works.
Wow. Right. Yeah. Hey.
Hey. So, yeah.
You know what I see talking to y'all is that I hear the faith in y'all words. And I was gonna say, y'all, you know how sometimes you meet people, they're what's that phrase? They're so heaven bound and they're no earthly good. I don't get that off of y'all. I get authentic and y'all believe in the word. Y'all are a couple of faith, but y'all don't seem like you're so religious that I can't have a natural conversation with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't get that off of y'all.
I don't care nothing about religion.
Right.
It's the relationship. It's a lifestyle. Right. It's a kingdom lifestyle and a way of being. But you're a human being.
Yeah. And I appreciate, and I definitely appreciate the authenticity that y'all bring to this interview. Like you said, I can't. Since we've been on this conversation, like I hear the faith in y'all words, how y'all describe one another, how y'all describe y'all marriage, one another, the whole nine, and then y'all background where y'all came from. I hear it, but like you said, you don't come off churchy to me. I don't get that. I definitely don't get that energy, but it makes you relatable. You know what I'm saying? It makes you relatable. So hopefully the people who are listening and hearing this can say like, okay, yeah, I hear it. They hear the same thing I hear. If you could describe your marriage in 5 words or less, what would it be? How would you describe it? If you need to use more, that's fine.
Ooh.
I would say
one word I would use is friction.
Okay.
Friction. Okay. I would say
growth.
I would say loving.
Friction, growth, loving.
I would also say to some degree, and I know it's gonna get bigger in the future, but influential. And
friction, growth, loving,
influential.
And
spiritual,
supernatural.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, has your definition of marriage changed?
I don't know if my definition has changed. I would say my perception of marriage has changed.
How so? What was your perception prior to?
That once, even though I grew up in a household that had a lot of issues and problems, it was this weird thing that it was like, you know, even though I lived with my parents and they had their issues, I think Bill Cosby and, you know, with his wife on the Cosby Show influenced me, you know, Family Matters influenced me, and seeing Dwayne and Whitley, you know what I'm saying? Like, they influenced me. So I had like this idea of marriage will solve, you know, these issues, and that, like, one thing I have forgot that it was a rude awakening for me once we got married, is I thought that there would just be like this, that marriage would bring a synergy to us that we wouldn't necessarily have to earn. And then it was just like,
say that again, CJ. I think that bears repeating. No, say that again. That bears repeating.
A synergy that we wouldn't have to put the hard work in for.
Okay.
And it was like, nope, once we got married, it was like I started seeing how she was raised, her ideas and ideals, her ways of doing, thinking, and being, what she views as right and everything, and how that was juxtaposed to how I feel, what I think, how I was raised, you know, my core values and beliefs, and this and that. And literally, like, she would say, when we would get into debate, she would be like, yo, like, I'm not your enemy. And it wasn't that she was my enemy or I felt like she was my enemy. It was just that, like, some of her views and ideas were diametrically opposed to how I thought. And I was just like, whoa. So, like, literally, like, we have to be in a true level of understanding of, you got two different people, two different sexes, you know, in today's world,
right. You know, I get what you're going. I get where you're going.
But like, you gotta come together and become one and make it work.
Yeah.
And it was just like, dude, like, to do that, you gotta
earn it. You gotta earn it. You gotta, and that's where that friction come in. That's where that friction come in.
Yeah.
You know, and then that friction creates a little growth. And so while you're having that friction, then you start to mesh together. You know what I'm saying? And then it becomes loving. You know,
it was like white water rafting.
Yeah.
The beginning for us, but we needed that especially in our dating years, we needed that to smooth out. Like, I used to hate arguing. I'm a very non-confrontational person. I don't like to debate, and he loves it.
Okay.
So we had to get over that, and I had to understand that, hey, some things need to be worked through, and it's not always going to be pretty when you work through it.
Antonio, you know about the barbershops, man. I mean, when you're in the barbershops, you know, you always debating. So it's just a thing. And I was on the debate team. So, you know, but she went to a guy who just would talk to her, and it wasn't really a debate.
Yeah, no, we would go back and forth, but you talking about the hairdresser.
Yeah, the hairdresser. You know, it's a cultural thing. You know what I mean?
He knows how to relate to women. But yeah, for me, I thought that marriage was going to be
and I love how y'all stay on task too. Like, sometimes I don't get I'll ask a question and they'll go off on a tangent, make me forget the question I originally asked. Y'all stay on point. Y'all keeping me on point.
You're silly. So for me, I almost just lost it. So for me, gender roles was a thing, and I expected him to step into certain roles and me to step into certain roles. What a woman represents in marriage, what a man should do in marriage. So I was a little bit off on that. But then also, I always in the beginning thought, when you marry someone that there would be butterflies, like when you dated someone and decided to marry them, there's gonna be butterflies and y'all in love, and it's like the Notebook type of love,
Right.
And what I realized is
did the record scratch, Lydia?
It did. It straight up did. But you know what? I learned it like for me. This is not everybody may not see it this way, and it's totally fine. But for me, as a believer, as a follower of Christ, marriage is a covenant and it's a means to purpose. The word talks about two being better than one. And I believe each of us was put on this earth for a specific reason to fulfill a specific purpose. And it's better when two people come together to do that than one person. And versus I'm getting
ladies, are you hearing that? I like that.
So versus, getting together because, I'm just so in love, he makes me happy. That's fleeting. Happiness is a fleeting emotion. And love, what we deem as love is an emotion, but love is actually an action and a choice. So you choose to love a person.
Right.
The word talks about what love is. You're not holding them to what they messed up on in the past. And all those are actions that you have to take and choices you have to take.
Okay.
So I did not, this isn't, some people may think this is weird, but for us, we didn't have the fairy tale, that's Disney. Like it's
she said the key word that's messing up our women, Disney.
Yeah. we didn't have that Disney kind of love. We had, this is ordained. This is what God has said. He sees far beyond what we see.
Right.
We're not who even he showed us each other is going to be yet. So this is going to be a process. And that's what we're marrying each other for. Not because we get butterflies every time we see each other. And I think that's what held us this long. All the tumultuous times is because I'm not married to you because you make me happy, even though you do make me happy and you learn to make me happy. I'm married to you because this is an ordained thing, and because at the end of this thing, we're both going to see a means of purpose. We're in covenant with one another. So that changed for me.
Yeah, it's like purpose over everything else. But I mean, like how she kind of laid it out is like it's closer to like an arranged marriage. I don't necessarily think it was like a happy arrangement.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Like I said,
no, I get where y'all coming from.
We loved one another, but I think people get so wrapped up in just their feelings.
Only the love, lovey-dovey,
it's just the lovey-dovey,
flighty-dighty stuff.
But that grew for me. Like I think it grew for him. Like he found out I was his wife before his heart had completely caught up. And it was confirmed that he was my husband before my heart caught up. I'm still trying to heal from this last situation.
Right.
No, this is my husband in front of me. And so it took process and courting and all of those things for all of those lovey-dovey things to follow. Whereas some people are led by that. And that's okay. I mean, it works. It is different for everyone.
Everybody, you
know, but for us, we're led by being in the center of God's perfect will. That's what leads us. And then all the love, the emotions that change. Because one day you're going to like each other. Y'all going to, like each other. And some days y'all not going to like each other.
Y'all not going to like each other. Yeah, that just comes with the territory of being married.
So I didn't want my marriage to be rooted in that. To me, that's purpose. And it only goes so far. Because what if something happened? They get into an accident and they don't look like they look when they first got together, or you know. Now
you got to put those. That's what we remember. We talked about that earlier. When you got to actually take those vows, they become more real now. You know, for better, for worse, for sickness and health.
You saying that stuff and
but to me, you know, sometimes when you're up there saying that, you saying it in almost for the people around. You know, it's just it's a part of the ceremony. You know, and you don't realize it happened, because I've heard of marriages being people leaving their spouse because they got sick, or the person, you know what I'm saying? Like, wait a minute, you gonna walk out on your marriage because I didn't sign up for this, but what did you sign up for? What did you actually sign up for? So I think, and I that's one of the questions too. I always try to ask couples, when you say those words, has there ever been a time where you actually had to put those words into action? You know, and it looked like y'all done been through that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think y'all spoke about happiness? Do you hold your husband and CJ? Do you hold your wife solely responsible for your happiness?
No.
Why not?
God is first, and I'm second.
Okay.
My wife is third on the list.
Yeah, like I don't think you should put your happiness or because really I like the word joy better than happiness.
Okay.
Because happiness is fleeting. Like I can be happy this second and next minute somebody make me mad. I'm not happy anymore.
Right.
Joy is more sustaining. That means you can maintain pleasure and contentment even when stuff is not right.
Okay. So, all right, Lydia.
Use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, do what you got to do. Hey, this is a real show.
But yeah, no, I feel like it's not my spouse's job to make me happy. Like I have to find that wholeness for me.
Y'all froze.
Anymore.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
You had frozen for a second.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're doing okay physically though. The baby's coming along. You got your checkups and everything's good.
Everything's good. The baby's fine.
Awesome.
I've had 3 hospital visits though. I've had three hospital visits. My last hospital visit was actually in Michigan. I was just there a couple of weeks ago, and I had to go to Henry Ford and Bloomfield. I was having early contractions.
Oh no! So, how far are you along?
Yeah, a little over 6 months.
Okay.
A little over 6 months. So that was scary.
Yep, you froze again.
There we go. That's weird. It happened. All is I'm still having food aversion. When I was sick, I sound horrible. I said I sound dead. Her mama need to go down there and check on her.
All right, so a couple more questions. We're gonna play a couple more games, and I'm gonna let you guys go. What season would you say your marriage is in right now, and then describe it? What season? And you can use actual seasons: summer, spring, winter, fall. What season would you say? I mean, you don't necessarily have to use that to describe it, but what attribute would you say your marriage is in currently at this moment?
I would say we're definitely in transition.
Okay. So it's just kind of like transitioning from like spring to summer, summer to fall, fall to winter.
Winter
to spring.
Winter to spring. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's been an interesting time. You know, just financially and just with our businesses and then the baby coming. That's the hint of spring, but even that process has been a little rough. I had to stop working, so we went from 2 incomes
to 1.
One. So that's been rocky, but we can see the light.
Okay, like, all right, that's good.
The buds coming.
Right. Do you do y'all still go out on dates? Do y'all still have date night?
We haven't had it in a while. We haven't had it. I'm traveling.
Okay.
So, and then with all my travel when I'm in town, we just more so chill, but we have not been dating. When was the last time we went on a date?
Out on a date?
Yeah.
CJ, you gotta get your wife out on the date.
No, I definitely do. I already know.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to move back to Detroit.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? We're gonna have to double date because Lydia, I definitely you probably didn't see my wife before, but y'all, I don't think y'all officially met. But yeah, you two gonna talk it up because she love dance, you love dance. So that's just I'm not gonna be able to pull y'all apart.
And she is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Gorgeous. I said,
thank you.
Got him a gem.
Thank you. Okay, so here's the first one.
What? Oh, that. Oh,
It's from Martin.
You.
They all used to joke with this one character about what he did or didn't have.
Ain't got no job.
Yeah, you ain't got no job, Tommy.
There you go. All right, here's the next one.
Woo.
Man, what? This was from a movie. Was it? What was the name of this show? Oh my God. This was from a movie. I want to say it had my girl from
You and
oh God. What movie was this from?
You.
I don't know this one.
Whew, that one rough.
That is the first. That's the first. That is the first word. That is the first word of each of these phrases.
And you can't think of no clue on this.
I'm trying to think of the lady who played in How to Get It, Viola Davis. I want to say she was in this movie.
Okay.
And she said it to the little white girl.
Little white girl.
Yeah.
And the one with the girl when the maid.
She fed her the shit pie.
Yeah.
Ooh, the help.
Yeah,
the help.
Man.
And she said it to the little white girl. Y'all got the first word, and that's the first word in each of these three phrases. If you break them up by the Y or the U, and then period, you, period, you.
You is.
Yep.
Oh.
You is
kind. You is smart. And you is
intelligent.
Important. Nice job, y'all. All right, here's the.
I'm sorry to all my professors. Sorry. I will put.
Will Smith. This was his. It was the theme song to his show Fresh Prince.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Oh, look at y'all.
Chilling out there.
All right. I see you was a
Fresh Prince fan.
Yeah, Fresh Prince fan. Yeah, I wasn't really a big Fresh Prince fan. Let me ask y'all this before I give you this question: are you more Good Times or are you more the Huxtables?
Cosby's all the way.
Cosby's, okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. The reason I asked is because me and my wife has this discussion about that. I really wasn't a Cosby Show fan. It wasn't real for me.
Really?
That wasn't. I was like, black folks don't live like that. But my wife said she knew couples like that, but that wasn't real to me. So I couldn't identify with it.
Mm-hmm.
Good Times was real for me. Not that we was poor like that, but I could identify with that. You know, that's why I asked that. And that's gonna be one of the questions I'm gonna start asking couples. Are you Cosby or are you Good Times? Where you at?
No, that's good. Well, check this. That's what was interesting about that, because what you asked, that's actually a really deep question as it relates to psychology, because on my father's side was the Good Times, right?
Okay.
I wouldn't even say my mother's side. But you know what? What was interesting is like the person who I looked at the most on there was two of them. It was the Spanish kid who used to try to date Rudy and Bud.
Okay.
I always looked at them because I knew my father, he was a mailman, and my mother, she she worked at a bank or whatever. And I knew I wouldn't be the people on the screen, but I was like, but I could be Bud. I could be the Spanish boy. And guess what? When I got older, the women that I was always like in these situations with, they were always like coming from, like, my father's a doctor or my mother's a lawyer and all of that. And I was like Bud. They were like, wow. To bring the little poor guy in here and give him, some ice cream,
Yeah. Oh, crazy. Wow, that's crazy. And that's one of the questions I'm definitely writing that down to ask the couples, because you know what, just because we're the same skin color don't mean we come from the same side of the tracks. And so how we view things, and even if we do come from the same side of the tracks, we don't always look at things the same way. Our households were different, how we were brought up. Me and my wife are both the oldest of our siblings. You know, she's the oldest on her side, I'm the oldest on my side. So occasionally we both like to take the lead on things, you know, because that's how just where we were brought up. I took, you know, my brothers and sisters, I'm the oldest, they look to me for advice. Her sisters and brothers look to her for advice. So we used to be in the lead, you know, kind of the lead on a lot of stuff sometimes. So all right, so here's the last one.
Mama, no.
What movie was this from? Dang. I'm mad. Y'all might have to take my black card.
My time, my day.
Nope. Has something to do with cash and how it shouldn't change you. Okay. I actually said one of the words I shouldn't have been saying, but
money. So is money.
That is one of the words in there. That's the third word.
Okay. We did.
Men change.
Nope.
No, men. Oh, wait a minute.
Remember, the third word is money. Your wife already said the third word is money.
I was about to say more money, but ain't it? So
money.
Money.
Yours.
Don't let
my time, my dollars. Let in money.
No. Can you give another hint? Give us another hint.
Okay, I was just about to say, see that you just throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping to stick. So the third word is money. What's the first word? Start with it. Of course you see it starts with an M.
Make time.
There you go. Make
time.
No, the third word is money.
Oh, okay. Make the money.
Yep.
Don't let it make you.
There you go. All right.
Woo! This
all right. That's from Players Club, right?
Okay, I couldn't think. I knew it was from a movie. I just couldn't think of what the movie was. Yeah. All right. But I'll tell y'all what, when me doing this stuff with the couple, some people pick this culture tag. When I play this with my family, I'm gonna be a beast.
Right.
I'm gonna be a beast. What advice would you give yourself prior to getting married? If you give yourself prior to getting married, what advice would you give yourself?
That's a good question.
Enjoy being single. No, but for real, be content where you are. Like, be whole as a single person, because the single folks want to be married and the married folks want to be single. I don't want to go back to being single, but I see the benefits of both.
Okay.
Forgive quickly.
Okay.
Man, that's such a profound question. It's like, I would say, just keep God first.
Okay.
If I had to pick out because literally I have about like 10 things I could say, but more important than anything else would be keep God first. Okay. Without having God as the person, number one, that you seek first and that you keep in the center of your marriage, the marriage will be rough. Even if you have two really good people, it can still end up rough, and things creep in that will surprise you. Your spouse could end up surprising you if you are not protecting them, covering them spiritually, and keeping God first, man. Period.
Okay. All right. Speaking of, it was something you just said, but I wanted to ask this question before we part ways. Was there anything that we discussed today that surprised you about your partner, or that you didn't know that you just found out during our conversation today?
No.
He did say something, but I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
When he expressed why he, I can't remember.
You can't remember? Okay. All right. Well, there was something that you did find out about him that you didn't know previously.
Yeah. Okay. I got better insight too.
Okay.
Yeah. Why he did.
I always like to ask couples that, especially at the end, just to find out, because, we talk about a lot of different things, and just, there might be some things that come out that Like, oh, okay, I didn't know that about you. Or I didn't know that about So that's always a try to end it with that. Well, the Browns. I know it's been a labor of love to get y'all on here. I'm so happy that we had a chance to talk. You guys were absolutely amazing. I know my audience is going to thoroughly enjoy this. If you guys haven't already done so, please hit the like and subscribe button. I want you guys, if you haven't done so, go to the page, Black Marriage Chronicles. Go ahead and like it, share it with your friends and family. Y'all say y'all part of a marriage group, share it with them as well. Got couples on there that also want to sow into other Black couples, other Black marriages. Send them my way. I love to talk to them and get their perspective on marriage, how they deal with the ins and outs of being married. Because again, we're trying to grow our community, our culture. There's so many negative stereotypes surrounding Black marriages, and this is here to try to dispel that. Like, Black love exists, Black love wins.
Right. That's right.
You know, and we are here to let people know, like, hey, we're in this thing too, and we have a story to tell. We want to share it with other couples. And I do want to say this also before I let you go, is that I don't take it lightly. I know marriage is a sacred institution, and the things that go on in your marriage, it's not for everybody to know. But the fact that you were willing, your wife didn't hesitate when I asked her about it. I know it was a little bumpy ride getting to where we are today, but she was like, yeah, once I kind of gave her the concept of what I was trying to do, she was like, yeah, we in. We just had to, of course, we had to get your schedule together, CJ. But the fact that you were willing to come on here and share such intimate details of your marriage, and, I just want to let you know I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you, and I hope my audience will appreciate it as well, because I felt the authenticity coming from you guys. You was keeping it a buck with us with everything that was going on. So I just want to say thank you.
Absolutely, no, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I love you, Al.
Yes. You're my sister.
This is great, man.
My little sister.
Yeah,
this is great.
Absolutely. And when y'all come back Detroit, or even when I know you said y'all probably gonna be moving back here for sure.
No, we are.
Okay. All right. Lydia, you got my number. Call me. Let's set up whether it's before the baby or before Solomon or after Solomon. Plus, I also feel honored. Y'all revealed y'all son's name on my show. Hey.
Yep.
So, yeah. And he's a lucky young man. He's going to have two wonderful parents. I'm definitely looking forward. But y'all get back to Detroit. Lydia, if you're up for it, CJ, if you're not too busy, call us. Let's go out on a double date.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Let's do it on a double day. I'm looking forward to it. Well, with that, I do want to end it. Lydia or CJ, would y'all like to pray us out?
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right, go ahead.
Father, we thank you for our brother Antonio for having such an awesome platform. We ask that you continue to bless it. And we thank you for all of the eyes that'll see this podcast, not only this episode, but every episode, all of the ears that will hear this podcast, and all of the couples and singles that will be inspired by this podcast. We thank you for just revealing whatever it is you need to reveal to them, show to them whatever you want to show to them, and allow them to experience any and everything that you will require them to experience. We thank you for a great show, and we thank you for continuing to bless Antonio as he does your work in his divine purpose. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Pastor Brown. Thank you.
Say it again.
I receive all that. Yes. Thank you so much, Browns. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to both of you. Thank you. And I'll have y'all back in on a reunion sometime in the future, because we're going to have a reunion. And I'll see y'all soon. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Peace.
All right. That was the Browns, CJ and Lydia Brown. It was absolutely amazing. Again, if you liked it, please, if you like what you saw, please leave comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for me. And if you'd like to see the Browns back on the show, let me know that as well. With that, I'm going to end it right here, and you enjoy the rest of your day.